I've been invited to a number of places in the world and gave talks at various places, but this is going to be the most beautiful room I've ever given my lecture. Thank you very much. I agreed to give my lecture, today's lecture, in English. I'm sorry I don't speak Hungarian, please forgive me. But before I start my lecture, let me just spend a minute or two to speak Korean. I want to give some proper appreciation and thanks in a way. 저를 여기 이렇게 초대해 주셔서 정말 고맙습니다. 그래서 우리 유현영 한국 문화원장님 그리고 우리 김재영 팀장님 너무 고맙고요. 오늘 또 제 이렇게 머블링하는 얘기를 통역을 해줘야 되는 우리 알렉사에게 고맙다는 의미를 전하고 싶고요. 무엇보다도 많이 바쁘시고 참 여러 가지 일들이 많으시겠지만 저와 대담을 해주시겠다고 기꺼이 응해 주신 사모 플레이 교수님께 진심으로 감사하다는 말씀 드립니다. 네, 그럼 이제 오늘 강의를 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 저는 오늘 I'm going to talk about the concept of consilience today. Let me the concept consilience more or less has begun with Professor Edward Wilson of Harvard University, happened to be my advisor for my PhD program. Somehow, sadly, passed away the day after Christmas about 2 years ago. So suddenly, it was so sad moment in my life. Now, Harvard is a strange place, to say the least. You run into Nobel laureates just casually every day in the hallway or on campus. There are lots of things going on, many seminars or academic or cultural events, many of them every day on campus. One day I was passing by the board and looked at the poster that says a recent Nobel laureate in chemistry has come to give a talk. I don't really like chemistry very much, but I kind of wanted to listen to what the man had to say, so I went to the talk. It was interesting. He was coming onto the podium and he saw a grand piano pushed away to the corner to make room for him, for the speaker. And he kind of abashedly pointing at the piano, expressing the wish to play. So people went up and brought the piano to the center of the stage. So he sat down, started playing for a few minutes. It was amazing. He was like a concert pianist. We were all mesmerized. And then he stood up and went to the microphone and said, very kind of gently, quietly, said he really wanted to become a pianist, but he realized that he didn't have talent, so he decided to major in chemistry. So he got Nobel Prize in chemistry. His lecture was really amazing. He started that way. We were all mesmerized by the man, so we had to listen to what he had to say, every single word. After his seminar, there was question and answer session. Very predictable question came up. A student in the crowd raised a hand. He said, question, and this student said, I'm a student in chemistry department here. How could I become a Nobel laureate just like you? That's a very predictable question. Now, his answer was even more, it's not very predictable. It's a very extraordinary. He said, well, you must be good. You studied chemistry at Harvard, you must be a very good student. But if you study chemistry only very studiously, perhaps you can come to my laboratory and become my assistant. But if you play piano like myself, or if you read poetry, novel, or if you like movies, or if you sing, you may win the Nobel Prize someday. That was an amazing answer. I mean, I am the kind of person who really cannot do one thing in my life. I'm such a multifaceted, natured person. I had to try a number of different things. But then I always had to worry about my career because I don't concentrate on one aspect. And it's been already almost 10 years my graduate student life. And I was worrying about when I can get my PhD and whatnot. But this man's speech gave me a strength. And I knew I was doing something right. I mean, I was interested in many different aspects of life. So I went on my life in a way. What are these figures? There are some circles and lines, and perhaps most of us are doing something with one or two figures every day or throughout our lives. When you put them together, it's a bicycle. But every day we don't know whether we are working something for the bicycle or we are doing something as our occupations or as our jobs, right? That's why the great physicist Werner Heisenberg has written a book called Der Teil und das Ganze. He says, in order to explore the truth, or in order to understand the matter to the bottom, you have to understand the whole as well as parts. Let me ask you a simple question. What's in common among these four gentlemen? Aristotle, Da Vinci. The next two people are old Korean scholars you probably don't know. Yeonam Park Ji-won and Tasan Chong-yang-byung. These four men have something in common, which is what we may be able to say, Renaissance man. They're all Renaissance men. They're not into only one thing. They have done a number of different things in different areas.